Hi, my name is Keri Barnum. I am the Executive Director of New Shelves Books, and I'm here for Free Advice Fridays, the hour every Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern, where we get together to talk about writing, publishing, and book marketing. Any question is a good question. You can put anything in. You can join us live at newshelves.com/FAF for our live webinar, or you can write in questions throughout the week at questions@freeadvicefridays.com, and we answer them live, and you can check the replay on YouTube, which is youtube.com/newshelvesbooks. So we are so excited to get started. Every Friday is a good Friday, right? In my house, we call Friday Fry-yay, because we're that excited. We're those people, and I'm not even ashamed. So two questions that we got in today, or not today, two questions we got in this week that I want to cover first. Number one is we recently posted an article about how to name your publishing company. And in that article, we talk about how when you are self-publishing or you're indie publishing, you want to create the persona of a business to publish under. So you don't necessarily have to go out and get a DBA or LLC, but you do need to create a publishing house name or an imprint name for your publishing. When you do that, you really want to stay away from your name. I wouldn't want to do Keri Barnum Press or Barnum's Musings or something like that. It's obviously too tied to me. It sounds self-published. It sounds like I'm just promoting myself. But what you do want to do is find a name or think of a name that inspires confidence. We've had some really good ones come from New Shelves clients, Avrock Press. A recent one is Under the Oak Press. There's here at New Shelves, because New Shelves is a actual company, we have New Shelves Publishing. So this is Post Office fans. I love that. So it's something that, again, it's not tied directly to you. We don't want to name it after you. We don't want to name it after your kids. Not really after the street you grew up on either. But if you want to give me all that information and your social security number, I'm happy to, not really, I'm not going to hack into anything. But let's move away from that kind of thing. We also don't want you to go on Facebook and how you create like your princess name. It's like, what's the last thing you ate? What's the thing to your right? Combine that with the word sir, and you've got your princess name. Maybe your prince name, I don't know. But we don't want to do anything like that. Think strong, think confident, and think business. It shouldn't be too long. If your imprint is 6-7 words, it's way too long. Think of the big ones: Macmillan, Hachette, Penguin. These are short. They're to the point. And again, it's not tied to a name necessarily. And the question, we had some follow-up questions on that, is when you pick an imprint, how do you make it yours? Well, there are two things I suggest. Number one, Google that imprint that you've got in mind to make sure it's not already being used. You don't want to be confused with anybody else. So Google it, see if you find someone else using that press name. If so, look for something else. Now, another thing that you want to do is make sure that you are not stealing an imprint from one of the biggies. You do not want to use the word forge, which is a Macmillan imprint. You don't want to use any of the ones from the big companies. And here's why. While that may not be copyrighted, so to speak, it could be trademarked. And that's what you need to check, is you need to check the trademark of the word or the imprint that you're using. Not necessarily the copyright, because again, it's a little bit different. You need to make sure that there's no registered business in that name. That just Google, do yourself a favor, Google, make sure no one's already using that imprint, and then go check the trademark and make sure it's not trademarked. If all of those things are clear, you're pretty safe to go forward. Now, I will say, I am no lawyer. So if you really have concerns, you need to ask a lawyer. However, kind of rule of thumb, happens often in the industries, if you can check off those boxes and you're safe, then you can go, and all you do is you take your imprint name, and that's what you start using. You put your imprint in Ingram Spark. You put your imprint in Bowker. So when you assign an ISBN, it asks you for your imprint, and you need to tell them, well, my imprint is, if I'm the famous Randy over here, Bits of Steak Press. I don't know about you, but I don't want bits of steak. I want the whole enchilada. Like, give me the big old piece. But bits of steak press, so then he would put that in. When it's asking for a publisher on Amazon, bits of steak press. Can you create a company around it? Can you take that and register as an LLC, a DBA, or whatever it is? Absolutely, you can. You don't have to, but you can. It's completely up to you and a personal decision. If you are going to start working on other things other than just your writing, if you're going to be doing webinars and classes and you are really trying to create a sales platform, you may want to consider going ahead and registering for an LLC or DBA. But that's up to you. As far as actually naming your publishing company, check and make sure you're not stealing from the biggies. Make sure you check the trademark. You want to make sure that you aren't having something that someone else has used, and make sure you've got a strong name that's not personal. Make sure that it looks like it's aside from you. If I went up to someone and said, hi, my name's Keri and I'm rep by Bits of Steak Press, people aren't going to be like, oh, so that's your last name or that's your business. They will realize that it's a little bit separated. If I say, my publisher is Avrock Press, that sounds legitimate because it is, and it's creating the business name. And that's what's so important in self-publishing and indie publishing. It's not that indie publishing or self-publishing is bad. It's that we need to make sure that we are treating it like a business, that we are professionally self-publishing. And part of that is making sure that we name our publishing house, that we name our imprint, and that we're presenting it professionally. So hopefully that helps a little bit in clarification there. The other question, mid-age balding man press. That's too long, David. I'm afraid it's too long. Balding man press. I mean, that's kind of got a ring to it, though. A question we've got coming in. I started looking at the Ingram Spark customized order option. I haven't ordered anything yet, but the general description mentions you can add a page to your print books order. A few weeks ago, I was wondering if anyone used this option. If so, is there a template or visual image of what this looks like? Has anyone used this option before? And David, I'm going to admit that I totally was like, I will go check it out. And you know what I didn't do? I didn't go check it out. But I'm going to put it on my calendar right now to check out the Ingram Spark customized order option. Like legit on my calendar. It's going on here. Check out Ingram Spark customized order. So if anyone else has done it, feel free to share your experience here on the chat. But if no one else has done it, I will do that this weekend. I don't always hit a home run, but at least I admit it. All right. Yeah, is there a specific site to double check the trademark for the name? There is a US trademark search. Let's see if it pops up as like, here we go. For the US, it's uspto.gov, and you can search the trademark database. I will drop it in here. Right there. I just dropped it in the chat. So it's uspto.gov/trademarks/search. And you can search different words and trademarks to see what's taken and see what's not. So that way you can kind of make sure that you're okay. Again, this is not a copyright issue as far as I know. Again, no lawyer here, but it's more of a trademark thing. Okay. Oops. I gotta get back to my tab. The tab of the tab of the tab. You know how I do. All right. Let me see. Answer that one. All right. Should the publisher and the writer both register as a business? Most of the time, Matthew, no. If you are going to register if you're going to set up an LLC or a DBA, what in an LLC, of course, being limited liability corporation. If you are setting those up, what it is you are setting up a company. So you're setting up a company of, it could be anything. It could be Keri Barnum Enterprises, and I'm going to set up a company. And then that company is going to create an imprint. So therefore, I am covered a little bit because limited liability. I am covered by my LLC for my imprint, which also includes my writing. And because an LLC, typically you can have partnerships and all sorts of stuff, but typically it's one person starting it. It covers me. It covers my writing. And of course you can have umbrella policies for insurance. We've talked about that, but just for the basics of printing and how you present yourself in imprint and publisher name. So it's you having a company and then an imprint name under that covers it. You don't have to do that. Let me be clear. Many people do not. They simply say, I'm going to use this imprint. The risk there, and of course, if you don't trademark it, is the risk is someday someone could decide, maybe Penguin someday decides, man, this would be the perfect press name, and they go trademark it, not because they stole it from me, but just because they're smarter than me. And maybe that happens, but the chances of that, again, are fairly rare. You kind of have to look at things of course, we look at the possibilities of what could happen, what could go wrong, all sorts of things like that. Then we have to decide, okay, what can I do that keeps me relatively safe? When I let my kids go out on the road to ride their bike, they could get hit by a car. They could fall down. They could hit their head. So we put helmets on. We teach them safety. We do our best. But in the end, I've got to decide, am I going to let my kids go right out on the street and do what they need to do? Or am I going to shelter them? And at some point, you kind of have to decide, I've done the safety that I can. I feel reasonably secure that I've done what I should do. And now it's just time to live. That's kind of my opinion on that one. Let me see. I saw a question, Miss Diane, in the chat. Let me see. My next book is in the KDP system, but not published yet. I Googled the title and found the book cover and the descriptive blurb. The same thing happened with another book that had not been published. How can that happen? Well, Diane, it depends on where your publisher, or if you have it up, who has it up where? Is it up on Ingram Spark for pre-order? Because then it would all show up. Was it up on a website? Did your publisher put it up on the website and put the information there? It really could have come from anywhere. So when you Google it, you need to actually track where it goes to, and then kind of look at that. Because if it's, let's say even it's on Amazon, if you Google it, you find it on Amazon, you're like, well, I didn't put it up on KDP. The question you need to ask yourself is, did you put it up on Ingram Spark for pre-sale, in which case it would absolutely populate. So it takes a little bit more digging, I'm afraid, but start with Google and trail it and see if that helps you a little bit. All right. Is it beneficial to have the word press or publishing in the publisher name? And so I just used my existing consulting name and LLC, which is Apex Collaborative LLC. There is no hard and fast rule. Some of them do have press, publishing. You could have LLC. I don't think it really matters either way, as long as it sounds strong and official. I wouldn't worry too much about it. Some people will put press in just because it has a very bookish ring to it. But again, do we call it Penguin Publishing? No, we call it Penguin. So we don't really have to worry too much about that. If you've already named your publisher and it's under an LLC, I think that's fine. Apex Collaborative sounds awesome to me. All right. Amazon ebook keywords. Is it beneficial to repeat the same word in one line or use the same word in multiple lines? So when you are using, if you're setting up keywords, and we're talking about the back-end metadata on Kindle, I assume, when you're setting up your books in KDP, you have 7 spots to put metadata keywords. At the moment, I believe you can fit 50 characters in there. Those are your keywords. Just remember that you can put it together. It doesn't just have to be historical fiction. It could be Civil War historical fiction. So you can really expand and fit a lot of keywords in there. I would not keep repeating the same ones. Once you've got that search term and that keyword, you're pretty much locked in. Sometimes you'll see where you repeat like one word or something like that, but you don't need to keep repeating it over and over and over. Once it's in there, it's in the metadata, it's in the keyword function. So you don't have to keep doing it repetitively. You're actually kind of wasting some of your space there, in my opinion. Always, in my opinion. Caveat. All right. Oh, so that's a good to know. Randy is saying a contest I entered the last year docked my entry for not having my imprint on the cover. Any suggestions on where to put it? That is, number one, really strange that they docked it for not having it on the cover. But it is very common to have a logo or sometimes, let's just be honest, if you've got a long press name, it's not going on your spine. It's too long. But the logo, so many times, and I've done this with clients just recently, we went into Canva, we took the imprint name that they decided on, and we made a quick logo. Did not have to be hard. I did it. And I am not talented in that area, and yet I did it. I totally was proud of myself too. Or you can have someone make a logo for you. You can certainly pay someone for that as well. But so many times people will put the logo on the spine, on the bottom of the spine, and on the back of the book is another option. On the back of the book, either many times we'll see it under the barcode, or you'll have the barcode on, see, guys, I prepped. I have a book here this time. So many times you'll actually see where you've got like the barcode over here and the imprint over here, or vice versa. So depending on what imagery is on the back of the book, oftentimes the barcode's on the right-hand side over here. And then you could have your full press name and logo right here with your website or something like that. And again, oftentimes we'll see a logo right down here on the bottom. So if I was going to put it on if I was going to put my imprint name on the cover, that's where I'd be looking, is towards the back. Yep, back cover for David, back cover for Tara. Yep, we are all in agreement. Goes on the back cover, definitely not on the front. Hi, Ed. Let's see, answer live. All right, and let me see. The other question that I got in this week was about, the other question I got this week specifically, we got lots of questions, but specifically was all about Goodreads giveaways in particular. And I think we talked about Goodreads just a little bit not too long ago. But when we are on Goodreads, they have this possibility of doing a Goodreads giveaway, which is totally awesome. Because if you're doing a Goodreads giveaway, do I recommend it for books that are already out? Let's cover that first. Not as much. I think you get the most bang for your buck. You get the most out of it when you do a Goodreads giveaway about 2 to 3 weeks before your book comes out. So your giveaway should end about 2 to 3 weeks before your book comes out. And here's why. Let me actually go to Goodreads and see if I can. Let's see. Let me just see if I can share. Isn't sharing screens the best? It makes me so happy that we have that ability. All right, I'm going to share my screen. All right, my friends, we're on Goodreads. I'm in Jeff's account, so thank you, Jeff. I know he won't mind. So what I like about this is there are giveaways, and I believe it's under browse. So if you go to browse and you go to giveaways, my internet's going to catch up. You can see that there are all these Goodreads book giveaways. Big publishers do them, small publishers do them, and it's awesome. So you have the option to enter a giveaway. And if you enter a giveaway, you can see all these books, and you can see how many people have entered. 2,100 people. I mean, that's a lot of people entering a giveaway. But the question always is, great, people want my free stuff. How does it help me? So the thing is that if I wanted to enter a giveaway, I would, let's do this one. If I was going to enter a giveaway, I would hit enter giveaway, and I have to put in my name, full address, and what it does though is that when you are doing this, and a giveaway can be for a Kindle or a paperback, but when you do this and you submit the giveaway, and I'm not going to put in all my information, obviously, but there we go. So if I was doing this and I was going to add it in, it automatically takes this book, The Fault Lines, and puts it in my to read section. So on Goodreads, you have different options of books to read, currently reading, read, and reviewed. So you can actually review books, all of that. So what's awesome about it is it puts it on your to read list. Sorry, I'm blanking out. So it puts it on your to read list. So then we go back and we wait. Obviously, we did this giveaway and we're waiting. It's going to end in 17 hours, and then I'll know if I won the book or not. If I won the book, and let's say only 3 copies, and you can do a few copies. Paperback giveaways do better than Kindle giveaways. You can do both. If you're doing paperback, typically it's shipping to US only, or US and Canada, perfectly fine. And again, 3 copies is plenty. That's plenty. You don't have to do a ton of copies. So if I win, Goodreads is going to email me and say, congratulations, you won, your book is on the way. And I'm excited, yay, excited, woo. But what's super cool about it is when you go to this book, all of these people that have entered the giveaway have now got this book on their to read pile. So if he's got 2,100 people who have applied for this giveaway and only 3 win a book, what about the other 2,197? Nope, 2,097. I know how to math. Well, they have all added this book to their to read pile, which is awesome, because if the book hasn't come out yet, let's say that this book is going to come out June 18th, so next week, what happens is every single person who's put this book on their to read pile because they entered the giveaway, so that over 2,000 people, Goodreads will send them an email on launch day, on the publication day, June 18th, which I'm just picking for example purposes. Goodreads will email each of those people and say, a book on your to read list is now available. They will send this whole thing, and they will send this where it's got buy links and everything. They are essentially, what I think is awesome about this is they are essentially promoting your book to all of those people and giving them a nudge to go read it, to go ask their librarian for it, to do all of those things, which is a huge opportunity. If I said, all right, I've got this giveaway for you, it's $120. It'll get you seen a lot on a really well-respected site, and everyone who enters will get a personalized email when your book launches as well. That could be 600 people, it could be 10,000 people, but they all will get an email. Well, who wouldn't pay $120 to get their book featured and sent out to, 2,000 people even? Most people would, because that's a warm audience. It's people who've already looked at your book, have shown interest in your book, and they're marketing your book for you. They're pushing it out. That's a lot of value. And that is why I like the Goodreads giveaway feature, because they have that option. I know, A+ for math. I get A for effort all the time in my house. So that's why Goodreads giveaways is so cool to me. Not because Goodreads is, their ads, honestly, I don't like their ads. I would never recommend that people go and do ads on Goodreads, but the giveaways are awesome. And when you're doing a giveaway, let me go back. Giveaways. So you can list a giveaway. As an author, you can list a giveaway. You do have to be signed up as an author. And If you are an author with a book that is published, has to be up somewhere. It has to be on Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble, somewhere that you can link to. You can set up an author profile. It's free. First, you sign up for a Goodreads account, and then you go to their author program. Let me see. I know there's a direct link somewhere. The Goodreads author program. And here it is. So I'm going to drop this in the chat. Excuse me. Because anyone who has a book out and published can, through Goodreads, claim an author profile and put your books up on here. So then you too can do a giveaway. When you list a giveaway, you can choose Kindle book giveaway or print book giveaway. You can do either. I highly recommend print. It's more popular. You'll get more entries in my experience and opinion. Do 3. It's totally cool. Just do 3. If you have a series, consider doing, if you've got like a series or a duology, consider just sending the winners to both books. Up to you, but it's kind of a nice thing that gives them the full story. You'll get better reviews, in my opinion. Anyway, so if I'm choosing a book, let's say choose the print book. Here are these options where we can choose our package. There's a $119 standard and $5.99 premium. Guys, I've done this with quite a few authors, and my opinion is all you need is the standard, the $119. That's all you need. The $5.99, you get some extra perks, but I don't think it's worth it. Most people in the industry I know who use Goodreads agree and do not use the premium. So I'd go with the standard. It's giveaways featured in friends' news feeds when someone enters. So if I go and I enter a giveaway, it will go up on my news feed, and everyone who follows me will see that I entered, which will prompt them maybe to enter, or at least give me exposure for my book. So that email right here, email sent to notify the author's followers and readers who have marked the book as want to read when it comes out, which is awesome. It reminds the winners to review the book, which again, awesome. And entrants are required to add the book to their want list. It's a really great thing. And for $119, they will, of course, they'll try to upsell you on the premium and on ads. I don't recommend that. But if you've got a new book launching, consider the standard giveaway and do it in advance. You want your giveaway to end around 2 weeks before your official launch date, in my opinion. That's what I recommend. And it's got a nice bang for the buck where you can kind of get your name out there, get your book in people's inboxes for a relatively low fee. All right. Let's see. Do you have to ship out the books yourself? Yes, you have to ship out the books yourself. And Goodreads is owned by Amazon, so when you go to check out, you have to have an Amazon account to pay. That is how they take their payments. When you have winners, what happens is Goodreads will email you with a list of the winners, and you're responsible for shipping out those printed books. So it's a little bit of a commitment there. All right, Randy at the end said he didn't see my screen. So hopefully that was not everybody in the whole time, and you guys are all just looking at me talking as I was showing everything very enthusiastically. Let me check the questions over here. Does the Goodreads share the giveaway entrance contact info email with the author? They only share the contact info of the winners. So you do not get a whole list of everyone who actually entered. You just get the email that they send out. You get the winners info. Yes, so if you do the 119, the rest of the entrants still get an email after the giveaway. And that's the value of it, is that all entrants who put it on their want to read list, which they have to do to enter, will get an email saying the book's available when the book launch day hits. Now, if you don't have the book launch day, you don't kind of get that. You don't get that big email going out. And that's why I think the value is more if you do it pre-launch. But it's all included. That's not extra. $119. Of course, then you have to figure in $119 plus, let's say, 3 books. So printing of 3 books. Most of us are print books. If it's just plain black and white, let's say it's somewhere $5 because I can math with $5. So you're looking at 120 bucks for the giveaway, 15 bucks for the actual paperback, and then your printing supplies, which will add on another, let's say 15, 20 bucks. So you're looking at like 160, 175 bucks for this giveaway where you're personally getting sent out into people's email accounts from Goodreads telling them your book is available. I think that's a pretty good deal. And certainly if you've got fiction and different things like that, that's very popular on Goodreads. Is a Goodreads giveaway worth it for a book already out? It's great exposure. I will say it's great exposure to get it out there, to have people, a lot of people visit these giveaway pages. So there's a lot of exposure. They can put you on, obviously, if they want the book, they have to put it on the want to read list. However, it's good exposure, but I don't think you'll see quite as much conversion because they're not getting the same, hey, this book is out, go buy it now. So it's still maybe worth it, but I don't think you'll get as much bang for your buck. And I will also note, while nonfiction does have a space, certainly on Goodreads, it tends to be more self-help nonfiction, and fiction is really, really popular on Goodreads. So if you're fiction, absolutely Goodreads can be a good spot for you. Avid readers, mystery, romance are very popular on Goodreads. Again, some self-help and some nonfiction, but you'll have a little less response, in my experience, if you're nonfiction. Yes, you can do giveaways for books that are already out. Yeah. Yep, so if you're a first-time author, can you buy the standard package? You can. You just have to have your book live on pre-order or for sale somewhere online to claim your author profile. You have to claim your profile to verify that you're an author in order to do the giveaway program. So it can be upcoming, and that's fine, but you have to have it for pre-order somewhere. Have you ever combined using a Goodreads giveaway with letting the non-winners know it's available for review on Netgalley? Seems like that could be a great thing to do too. The thing with that, Tara, is that Goodreads does not allow you to say anything. Now, you could put it on your book listing. You could put it on your Goodreads book listing and say this book is currently available for a giveaway on Netgalley. You could do that, but in your actual giveaway structure, they do not allow anything other than the book description because it's Goodreads. They want to keep all their traffic there. So you could get a little creative and maybe get some overflow traffic that way, but you wouldn't be able to do that directly to all the entrants. I just looked over on the chat and all I see is burgers, and I don't know what I missed, but I'm pretty sad because I love burgers. I'm apparently really low. Maybe I'm a little anemic today because I'm like, oh, burgers, steak. I swear I really love veggies too. I do, so don't judge me too badly. All right. And if you're publishing book 3 in a trilogy, should you still do a Goodreads giveaway or do book 1? So what I would do is I would do book 3 as a giveaway, but when you do it, decide to do one or the other. When you're doing it and you do a Goodreads book giveaway, do book 3 because then you'll get all that awesome oomph through. But what you do is when you're sending out the books for review, include all 3. Yes, it will cost you more because you're getting 3 books and you have to send them out. Give them all 3 so they can start from the beginning and read through. That way you'll get better reviews, or you consider writing or typing out a card that says, thank you for entering my giveaway. I'm including a paperback copy of book 3 of this series, but I also wanted you to have the opportunity to read books 1 and book 2. So here is a special code or link to grab those for free on BookFunnel. That is a way to kind of get them and getting them on the whole series so you're not knocked for only giving them the 3rd book in a series and it doesn't flow and blah, blah, blah. Memoirs can be popular on Goodreads. It depends on what they are. If the story is something that's very much trending, if the themes are trending, it could do very well. I think the thing with memoirs, and we see this all the time in how marketable they are, is memoirs and their popularity stem from two things. Either, oops, I should have done this finger first. Either from celebrity. So people already have a big name and they are writing their memoir, and people are going to read about it because they're already fascinated with this person. So some type of celebrity, whether it be because you're like a movie star. If Gwyneth Paltrow writes a memoir, people are going to read it. If you are famous for other things, famous serial killers, there people are like, man, I know about this person. They're kind of infamous and I need to know more. Because we are fascinated by the morbid. So celebrity or trending topics that people feel really relatable. Like Hollis, was it Rachel Hollis, who did the Girl Stop Apologizing and those books. Her books trended. Number one, she had a fairly large platform, but her memoirs and her books, I'm not sure I would call it a true memoir, but her books trended because it was trending to talk about how hard motherhood was and that kind of thing. So she hit a trend with her book and was able to relate. And that's why it rose so high. Empowerment in women and that kind of thing is very popular. So I think it depends on what kind of memoir you have and how you are going to relate it to what's happening now. How are you going to get people to care about your story? If I just wrote a memoir about my life and all I did was like, hey guys, I'm just going to write about my awesome life, people would be like, great, no one cares. Your mom will read it and maybe your dad, but probably not. He doesn't like to read. So, but if it is a story that says, hey, I'm going to write a memoir about sex trafficking and getting out of sex trafficking and empowerment. Those things are actually trending right now. Why? Because we are talking about it. There are social movements happening, and empowerment, of course, again, is a big thing. People like to see big success stories. So again, it depends when you're writing a memoir, what do you have to share and how interested are people really in that story? And I think that's important because just because you've got a great story doesn't mean people are interested in reading it. That's a hard truth, but sometimes just because your story was great and it was amazing doesn't mean that people are interested in it. So you either have to create interest or you have to have one of those big stories. And that's what makes memoirs really popular in the most cases. Though not always an exception for the exception, but let's see. I have a book on Amazon's bestseller list, and I discovered there are multiple other booksellers buying my book, which I'm selling on Amazon for $17.97, but other retailers are buying my book and selling it for $50. Is that legal? Of course it is. Free market. So what's happening is that anyone can buy your book and either resell it as used at any price they'd like. If I have a garage sale, I could take my old busted up copper pot and put a price of $200 on it. Is anyone going to buy it? Probably not, but I can try to sell it for that. That's my right. So Amazon's kind of the same way. People can sell used items. They can they can buy it and mark the price up as a wholesale. Again, most people are not going to buy it. If what happens is that the lowest price typically shows up on top. And if you are an author publishing through KDP, that almost always is the KDP book because KDP and Amazon are connected, and Amazon and Jeff like to make a lot of money. So, but people can sell your book. Other people can sell your book. If your book is up on wholesale through Ingram Wholesale, through Ingram Spark, or through expanded distribution on Amazon, I have a wholesale account. I could go buy your book today at a wholesale discount, and then I could resell it and up the price by $20. Now, if I'm looking for a book, I don't go, wow, I could get this book brand new for $17.97, or I could go buy it for $60 used Usually people aren't going to do that, so you don't have to worry about that too much. Yeah, and third parties are buying my books and selling them not only on Amazon, but also eBay. That happens too. The good news is, there is good news, the light at the end of the tunnel. The good news is that they still had to buy your book. So whether you got that sale on Amazon or eBay or whatever it may be, what happened is someone bought enough of your book that they went and bought it, probably from Ingram Spark at wholesale. You still got the sale, you still got paid, and then they're reselling it. So they essentially are acting kind of like a bookstore for you. They are spreading your name further and further, and that's okay. You still got the sale, you still got paid from the original sale. So keep that in mind. I know sometimes it's frustrating, but we really have no control over it. So looking for that silver lining. Keywords and KDP metadata, do they have to be real phrases or can they be several random words in the field box? They can. Real phrases are best. You could have random words, but the computers, the algorithms, the logarithms don't actually read those very well. You want to have some pretty normal phrases going on. You don't want to just shove as many words as you can into a box. It will confuse the algorithms a little bit. Is there a new shelf resource for understanding the benefits and uses of Netgalley? Cheryl, there is not, but that's a great idea for a blog. So I'm going to add that to my list of blogs that would be awesome to write. And maybe we'll have that soon. Yeah, Netgalley is awesome. Netgalley is a review site. It's used by publishers, and it's a really great resource. But we've never actually written anything on it. So maybe it's time. Let's see. Do you believe it is worthwhile creating a website specific for a book and or publisher? Is it smarter to focus on social media or Goodreads? I believe that you should have a website. Here's why. Because when you are on social media, you're building this platform, and that's great. I encourage you to do that. However, as we've seen, especially in the last year, it's their playground. If you're on Facebook and you make someone angry for whatever reason, they can kick you off. You don't take all those followers with you. You don't have their contact information unless you've been working on having them sign up for a newsletter list or something like that. It can disappear. When you have a website, you own it. It is your real estate online that you can always point to. And sure, could things go wrong? Could it be hacked? Yes, absolutely. However, overall, it is your site and you've got more control of it. So I recommend that while you do social media, which is great, you have a home base in a website. I personally recommend that you either create a publisher site if you are publishing multiple authors. So you have a publisher's website with the multiple authors kind of mentioned, or you brand yourself as the author, not by the book, not by the series, because then you could have 10 websites. I mean, if I write 3 different books and I name each website after my book, then I've got 3 websites and it's just too much to take care of. I recommend you brand yourself. So I'm very embarrassed to admit that I do not actually have a website up yet because I haven't taken the time to build it, but I do have the URL keribarnum.com. It's my URL and I can brand that and create that for myself. It's not up there, so don't be disappointed when you go and it's like under construction because I haven't taken time, but I have it. And that is a way I can brand myself. And whether I'm writing science fiction or romance, or if I'm putting out different projects, whatever it may be, I can always grow on that platform because my name, it's always going to be Keri. It's not changing. I mean, I do get called Hey You and some other names occasionally, but Keri Barnum is pretty much here to stay, and I can safely build on that platform. So I would always recommend that you don't have to do a ton to your website, but you should have a website. You should have a platform that is yours. Oh, that's good. Linda is saying Jane Friedman just did a special webinar about starting your own author website in 24 hours, and she may do it again. We love Jane Friedman. So if you happen to see that webinar, strongly recommend that you hop on there if you have a chance. And websites don't have to be scary. There are some great platforms. Wix is a really popular one that's got a lot of templates. It's easy to use. Websites don't have to be hard. A lot of them come with templates that are kind of plug and play. But you do have to be somewhat tech savvy, just a little bit, and you have to take the time. And so in my case, I know how to do it. I just don't have time, or I haven't made the time. Let's be honest, I have not made the time. All right, so Goodreads, giveaway, Netgalley, which is more expensive. New Shelves promos, Facebook ads, social medias, or ways to market anything else. The ways to market your book are extensive, and I think we're always finding new ways. It's finding what meets your goals. I always get people asking all the time, well, how can I market my book? There are tons of ways to market your book. The bigger question is, what is your goal with your book? And let's focus on the marketing and the aspects that drive that goal. Because if your goal is simply to make money from your books and you don't care about whether or not you make it into a magazine, well, then we need to spend more on driving ads and traffic than we do on PR. There are tons of ways to market your book and a lot of ways to spend your money. That is why it's not enough just to say, how can I market my book? You have to say, what are my goals as an author? What are my goals for this book? And how can I make those happen with marketing? And then work backwards from there. That way you have a focus. You're not taking birdseed and just throwing it everywhere and hoping that like you hit something good. You are focused in on your goals, and you're more likely to hit them that way, so that you can do that. All right, my friends, I think that we've answered everything for now, and I want to take the last couple minutes. Next week, Free Advice Friday will be canceled. June 18th, I will not be here. Some of you follow me personally, and so you've probably already seen, I've been pretty open with it, but on some recent doctor's appointments, doctors found things that don't belong. So I have a strong family history of cancer, and in some recent doctor appointments, they found some concerning things. I'm going to have a biopsy. We're all sure it's going to be fine. We're not too concerned, neither the doctor or myself are too very concerned. But I listen to my body, I listen to my doctors, and I get my screenings. And so I'm going to go have a biopsy on the 18th. And hey, look, they only do biopsies and surgeries for my appointment on Fridays. And so I won't be here, but I would love to actually do a critique on our Free Advice Friday group. So because of COVID, I'm going in to the surgical center. I'll be by myself, and you have to go in like 2 hours early and all that. So I'm going to be sitting there by myself with nothing to do. So I would very much love if we could do a critique over in the Free Advice Friday group on elevator pitches, where everyone think of your book, think of your work in progress, whatever it is, and we're going to think of some elevator pitches for your book. I'd like you to keep it at 150 characters, just like an Amazon ad, and have some pitches where we actually have a thread of putting out our pitches and then critiquing them for each other, saying what we like, what we didn't like, making suggestions, because it will be fun. I think everyone can kind of use an extra pair of eyes on that, and it will keep me busy while I'm waiting. It's totally selfish. Let's be awesome. But like I said, I will be canceled. I will be over in the Facebook group, at least while we wait. I don't get my surgery time until the day before. So it kind of, yeah. So it won't be live on Zoom. There will be no website on Friday. It will be the Facebook group. Let me drop that in here. Where is our Facebook group? It's Free Advice Friday on Facebook. Let me see. And like I said, I would love if you guys join me there. And we will still do some critiques and some hot seats later. We're actually looking at things together, but I thought this is something we could do in the groups that would make it kind of fun. So it's just Free Advice Fridays for authors and publishers. I'm going to drop the link if I can find Zoom, I'm going to drop that right in there so that you guys can join the Facebook group. If you haven't, we'll be in there. I'll make some posts so that we can all kind of stay connected and on there. And I appreciate that. The outpouring of support and concern and love has been so appreciated. I really thought about not saying anything, but as I said, my mom died of breast cancer at 48, and her mom also had breast cancer. So I am high risk, but I think it's so important that we listen to our bodies, get your screening. You know, I like my soapbox, so let me hop up and just say, if you've been feeling something that doesn't feel right, make sure that you are going to the doctors, make sure that you are getting your screenings, because that is, you know, it's all about prevention and it's all about finding things early. So while I am sure, as I said, I'm not overly concerned. We're doing everything we can, but because of my high risk, it also means I'm getting genetics testing and all these other things. So it turned into like one doctor's appointment that was just a doctor's appointment to, I think I've had 12 doctor's appointments over the last like 2 weeks. So it's been busy, and I expect to be up and at 'em, though. It's a quick, easy surgery. So I appreciate that. And if you've been holding off getting anything checked, I encourage you to go do that. I'll get off my soapbox now. And I appreciate you guys. We'll be back on June 24th. I'll be over in the Facebook group. And you can always reach us with your questions, again, at questions@freeadvicefriday.com. And I hope that you guys have a beautiful weekend and I know you can't see it. There's a hummingbird. It's like squirrel. Have a absolutely beautiful weekend. And I will see you in 2 weeks. Bye, guys.